On the chart, I have stone 1 and stone 2. Stone 1, I gave to you and you had to plot. And you found in it inclusions sitting here in the star facet. You found adlets running into the Basile facet. And you found another adlets running from the upper girdle facets through to the star. Stone 2, by the way, these didn't take you very long to find. Stone 2, it took you a long time to find anything, and you managed to find bearding running around the outside of this stone, and you found burn marks on the back of it. The question is now, how do we apply the grading system? We're going to apply the grading system by using a system that I developed called Tell Me What It Cannot Be, which is really taking the 11 grades and by a process of elimination, forcing out the answers. I'm sure you'll recognize this diagram. It's the same one as we had up a few moments ago. Stone 1 and same as stone 2, stone with the bearding and the bearding on the back. Let's start with stone 1, and you've got to actively ask yourself the questions that I'm going to ask myself. The first thing is, can I see these inclusions with my naked eye? And I say, no. Are you sure you can't see it with your naked eye? I'm absolutely sure that I cannot. If I cannot see it with my naked eye, it means it cannot be in I1, I2, or I3. I'm now going to go to the top of the grade. Can it be internally flawless? You said absolutely not. It can't be internally flawless because it's got stuff in it. Can it be VVS1? No, because a VVS1, you can only see through the pavilion of a stone. It can't be that. What about a VVS2? Cannot be that because a VVS2 is very, very small, seen face up. I said to you, okay, I agree. What about a VS1 and a VS2? Well, the VS1, I said to you, ask yourself the question, how easily can you loop these things? And you say, Alan, I can loop each one of them very, very easily. No problem at all. As I explained to you earlier on, a VS1 and a VS2 are small. With a little bit of practice, you'll be able to loop them. But at this point in time, you probably cannot. So we take those out. As you can see, we're now down to 3 grades. I said, you're on. If you only had that imperfection there up at, in the star at about 11 o'clock, if that was the only thing in the stone, how easy can you see it? It said me, I can loop it very, very easily, Alan. No problem whatsoever. And I said, what about the one at about 3 o'clock? Also, easy to see. All right. And the other one here at about 8 o'clock, also, Alan, easy to see. I said, all right, let's assume that you only had the one in the star at 11. What do you think you would call it? He said to me, well, it's definitely much, much more visible in the VS2, so I'd probably have to call it an SI1. I said to you, okay. What about these two? The same thing. Each one of these is probably an SI1. So I said to you, all right, if you've got 3 SI1s, you are unlikely to call that stone SI1 because there are 3 of them. You would probably have to call it an SI2 or an SI3. Yeah, that makes sense. So we cross it out. We are now down to 2 grades. You now ask yourself the question again. Is it an SI2 and an SI3? And I say to you, can you answer me this question? Now you know where these inclusions are. Can you see them perhaps with your naked eye now that you know where they are? You have a look and you say, Alan, definitely not. I still can't see them. I say to you, okay. So the difference often between an SI3 and an I1 or an SI2 is that when you know where it is, you can actually see it if you look very carefully. You say to me that you still can't see them. I say to you, okay, I accept what you say. Your final grade, going to be Si2. It's a process of elimination. And remember, when you do it, I don't mind if you start at the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter, but do not start and work all the way down. You've got to top, bottom, and I promise you, you will force out the answer. Let's have a look at stone 2. This stone took you a long time to find anything. As I said to you, finally found the bearding around the side of the stone and this burn on the back of the stone, but it took you a long time to the point that you were about to give up. But fortunately, you didn't. The question is, how are we going to grade this stone? Let's start again. Can you see this with your naked eye? You said to me, absolutely, definitely not. No chance at all. I'm struggling to see it with my loupe. I said, right. So the eyes, 1, 2, and 3 have to come out. Correct. Can it be internally flawless? You say, no, it cannot be, because I've marked stuff running into the stone face up, and there's stuff on the back. It can't be IF. And because it's marked face up, it can't be VVS1. I said, okay. What about the SI grades? And say, no, it can't be SI, because the SI 1, 2, and 3 would be able to loop very, very easily. These, I know that they're there, but they're extremely difficult for me to see. So it cannot be the I1, I2, and I3. So, okay, that makes good sense. What about the VS1 and the VS2? Well, if it was a VS2, I'd be able to loop it relatively easily, and I'm really struggling, so I don't believe it's a VS2. I say, okay, I accept that argument. But now, we're down to 2 grades. The question is, which one? Again, you ask yourself the question, how difficult is it for me to see? Well, if you are seriously struggling and you know it's there, you've seen it on the microscopes and so forth, and you plotted it, but it's extremely difficult for you to see. The chances are that it's not the VS1, it's going to be the VVS2. But you have a choice of 2. You are only going to be 1 grade off, which in terms of the international grading, you are allowed to be 1 clarity grade or 1 color grade off, because some of them are marginal calls. It could be a VVS2 or maybe a top VS1. So if you went for the VVS2, you'd probably be correct.